Siyata Dishmai, we're going to continue in the gates of the Baal Shem Tov. We are in a new chapter, a new gate, Sha'ar Vav. The sixth gate, Avodat Hashem Besimcha, serving Hashem in joy. The main aspect of Avodat Hashem is that a person should run away from sadness and depression as much as they can, because depression comes from the Yetzer Hara to bring a person down into a black cloud. What is sadness coming to do? It's one of the tools of the evil inclination to get you in a place where you don't want to get up, you don't want to smile, you don't want to pray, you don't want to be nice to people. The way to strengthen yourself to serve Hashem in simcha, always be in a state of joy. Not the way. That is the way. The proper way is always to be strengthening your joy, to not allow any openings for sadness. Because this brings a person to ta'anug and Dveikut, to immense pleasure and delight and attachment to Hashem. Like all the tzadikim of the generations did, they got all of their levels, like the Arizal talks about, right? How did he get to the levels he got to? By way of simcha, by way of joy. They also nullified decrees, all by way of serving Hashem from simcha. Like Reb Nachman says, right? Clap your hands and dance. You can nullify decrees. Hey, it's important to dance. What does that mean? Your joy is what's nullifying the decree. When the leaders of the generation are in joy, it affects and brings a sense of joy to the whole entire world. Therefore, the Baal Shem Tov tells us to contemplate all the time that from the heavens you're being watched over divinely at any given moment. You have Alshech Pratit, and when the Shekhinah is with you and you're with Hashem, and Hashem is watching over you with a good eye, and you know that all of your intentions is only to do good and all of Hashem's intentions are only to do good, therefore you should never have any pain in this world on the fact of how to serve Hashem. Just do whatever you can right now from a state of joy. There's many different pieces of advice and strategies to bring to a person to spiritual joy, spiritual happiness, like playing music, like dancing, like making the body happy, like a holy joke, right? Holy jokes, you can never joke on account of another person to put them down. Can't make fun of other people and think that's holy, right? It's not. There's ways to make jokes in a non-holy way, and there's ways to make jokes in a holy way. Ayu asim liftach et libam leTorah, right? Chazal says that certain rabbis would tell jokes before their classes in order to open the hearts up. What was the point of the joke? To open the heart so that the Torah can come in more. So the Baal Shem Tov is teaching us that a person has to use all of these in order to serve Hashem from a place of joy. It's that important. That was the introduction to the chapter, and now we're going to the Tzivat HaRivash, the will of the Baal Shem Tov, and he says, First things first, make sure that any movement that you make, any action that you do in this world, you shouldn't have ulterior motives. God forbid. And in order to do that, you need a lot of wisdom. Deeper than anybody could find. So if that's the case, that I have to have it in my mind always, L'Shem Shamayim, L'Shem Shamayim, L'Shem Shamayim, for the sake of God, not for myself, not for that person, everything, just God. And it's extremely hard to do. You can't lose track of that, you can't be distracted even for one moment. And that's something that the second you do get distracted, it's so to say nullified. It's like you stopped it. See that you're doing everything for the sake of heaven. If you ever lose that off of your mind, all of a sudden you're doing it not for the sake of heaven. So one thing is first, we always have to have in mind, I'm doing my actions for the sake of God. The second thing, we have to make sure that we go to the mikveh. What does that mean? To be in the mikveh all the time? The kavanah of the mikveh. You learn the intention of the mikveh. We have to do that once. Please, guys, remind me, Keter Shem Tov, to just do it. We have to. All of us should learn it. The intention of the Baal Shem Tov and the mikveh. It's not for the camera, but we should do it here in Sha'ar HaYichud. Right? You have to be careful that you're always going to the mikveh. What does that mean? That in your mind, you're always going to the mikveh. You're doing the kavanah, the intention of the mikveh. And these three things, meaning L'Shem Shemaim in my mind, going to the mikveh, and what was the other one? And being in a state of joy. These are three things that become a rope to attach you to a place of joy and to push away any sadness and depression. Meaning, how can we, the Baal Shem Tov is giving us a tool right here, how can we make sure in our generation to be happy in Hashem and to stay in a state of joy? We have to do our actions for the sake of God. We have to be in a state of purity, in a mindset of purity, either the physical mikveh or the mental mikveh. And we have to hold on to our joy. If we have those three things, we have a protection against falling into depression in a much stronger way. Another teaching for the Baal Shem Tov on Parashat Ekev. יכול האדם שהוא דבוק בבורא כראוי להשתדל בכל דבר שהוא רואה שיהיה נראה שמסתכל על אותו דבר והוא אינו מסתכל רק על הבורא יתברך. העיקר שילך תמיד בשמחה. A person could be clinging to Hashem in such a fitting way and to try that everything that he sees in this world, it should appear that when he's looking at that thing, all he's really looking at is the light of Hashem. Right? You see through things and you see the light of Hashem that's behind them. I'm not looking at this, right? Just for the sake of this object, I'm able to look beyond and realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu is mechayed. This object, so to say, nullifies itself into my deeper perception on the godliness of everything. And the main thing is that you should always walk in a state of joy. You should always progress through life in a state of joy. Uvifrat be'et Dveikut. Specifically, when you experience Dveikut in a high level of connection to Hashem, because without simcha, without joy, you can't really say you're attached to Hashem. You can't really be attached to Hashem without joy. Again, joy does not mean you're frolicking around, clapping your hands, looking like a fool, playing. It doesn't mean that you show it, like the rabbis say. Mishenichnas Av, from the time the month of Av starts, mima'atim besimcha. We reduce our simcha. What does that mean? If Reb Nachman says, mitzvah gedolah liot besimcha tamid, it's a constant mitzvah to be in a state of joy. So how could it be that we reduce our simcha? Because let's pay attention to the words that they're actually saying. We reduce our simcha. Reduce, but you're still in a state of simcha. You're still happy. You just reduce how much you show it externally. Right? Don't play as much music in the 9 days. Don't eat as much meat. You don't eat meat in the 9 days. Meaning you're doing external things that show that I'm not in my highest level of simcha. But I'm still besimcha. I'm still in a state of joy. Because you always have to be in a state of joy. Zat Hashem, that's our learning for the day in the Baal Shem Tov.